First are some LikeCoin chain statistics. The number of addresses. Let me share the screen first. So you should be able to see the spreadsheet. I share the screen of the spreadsheet about LikeCoin statistics. What? Hello? Is it working?
Yeah, it's working.
Yes, it's working.
Okay. Okay. So the number of addresses is about 8,000, which is about 240 more than the previous week. Number of transactions still grows linearly. It's about 137,000, which is about 12,000 more than the previous week. And the number of delegated tokens remains basically the same as the previous week, which is now 255.15 millions, which is about 78.9% of migrated tokens. And the chart shows that the increase in number of addresses, I think it is slowing down, but not slowing down very much. Number of transactions still grows linearly, and the number of delegated tokens remains flat, not much increase. So this is the statistic for LikeCoin chain in this week. In the previous week, I was working on the upgrading the Cosmos SDK version, which is more or less nearly finished. It will take about 1 or 2 days more. So this week I will continue on this upgrade, and also I will I have talked with Alu and Michael and Kim about the minting mechanism for the creators pool according to the Civic Liker record, and I will work on the LikeCoin chain related parts for this mechanism, and I will also do research on the automatic upgrade mechanism for LikeCoin chain for validators. Yeah, that's it.
Hello, this is Michael. In the previous week, I have deployed the automation of daily LikeCoin distribution and the delivery of the daily report. And then I started to implement a monthly report for Civic Liker and writers. Currently, I'm working on the report status aggregation. This week, I will finish it and implement the email UI. And also, since the LikeCoin distribution is automated, I will add a poller to keep track on the transaction of the creator funds wallet, and add a alert when there is new transaction, so that we will not overspend and we do not know. That's it.
Last week I have added auto APK build in GitHub, and when we make a new GitHub release in our LikeCoin app, there will be APK build, but that has not been tested, and maybe we can see that in action when we make the next release. And also I have completed the LikePay library MVP, and demoed the actual user flow to the team last Wednesday. And I have wrote some documentations and make some minor changes on that library, and it's already on .live.co. And I do not expect developers or people actually using it in production, but that is proof of concept, or maybe someone interested can try that on GitHub, or just with the dot, and maybe try what the experience will be when using the LikeCoin app for e-payment. And also I have changed and deployed some Like.co on board related UX according to, of course, latest release. And also I am running A/B test on the register dialog, and it's still running. And the result is quite mixed up, and maybe we'll keep observing the experiment before we change into the next one. And also I've deployed the intercom alternative clips onto our testnet website, and I will need to see Evan Skin's comment on this alternative before any extra action. And also I was working on payment POC on the web version of our wallet, and I have made some extra modification to try to fulfill the MetaSpace requirement using the multi-send message of Cosmos network. And I just finished the multi-send version of web wallet last week, like on Friday. So I will need some comment from the team on both technical and UX side, and later I will post a link and see what you guys think on the experience. And this week I aim to finish this POC to usable or demoable versions, such that Metas can preview what kind of experience they can get from our web wallet. And this is the main thing I will do this week. And if lucky, I will finish the documentation for this part too. Yeah.
Hello, this is David. For previous week, I have finished the update on the UI of following toggle and bookmarks. And so William and Chung can review the PR again. And for the A/B test on the Civic Liker entry page, the last A/B test was not good. So I revert the test and conduct another A/B test, and specifically for the desktop only. And I have modified the JSON QR code logic, and we clean all the reviews comments based on the William's request. And I have also fixed the email display layout for the iOS mail app, which William has invited me to help. And I've also tested the of-course settings screens, which of-course has launched the update on last Friday, and seems it's working. So maybe the team can review the existing app on TestFlight or Android beta. And for this week, I will do the quick update on Like.co, which requested by Phoebe last week. And I'm also doing the share extension integration on Android part, and I haven't finished it last week, so I will continue to implement this week. And also, I'm going to implement the statistics screens this week. That's all.
Hello. Let's review the statistics first. Last week, as I reported, I observed there is an abnormal drops in the Civic Liker conversion funnel at the first step, and last Monday I have changed the advertising strategy so that we will drive we give up to drive some traffics from the top level funnel and focus on those active likers who have clicked the like button in the past 30 days. And it turns out that I think we have confidence to draw this conclusion that the drop is due to the quality of the users that drive to the first step. As you can see, the statistics, it is back to normal now, and there is some lesson learned, and I'll leave it in the later part. And for those index, there are quite a lot index which remains horizontal move, and there's no significant improvement nor drop. Including the daily active likers, we kept 1,000 likers per day, and also 300 new registrations, 30 to 40 app downloads. And last week for Civic Liker, in fact, it is a rise when comparing with the previous week. But if in average, 45 new Civic Liker is just as same as what we have in the past. And also for the LikeCoin button conversion rate, it remains at 10%, which is there's not a big difference between the past history.
Edmund, what is the total Civic Likers now?
It's around 1,200. I did not capture the figure here. I'll amend it in the minutes later. And for social media index, as reported in the last two meetings, we have been researching and changing the strategy. And when comparing with a month ago, there is performance enhancement. You can see in the screen, this is the Twitter performance summary, and this is the Facebook performance summary. But when comparing with 14 days before, I found that the Facebook performance is not that good. There's still a lot of room to be improved. So I will keep on researching on this. And there is a lesson learned I mentioned before. The bookstore performance polls, as reported in the last meeting, it was the best post in terms of engagement, but it also suppressed the conversion rate of the Civic Liker landing page. It turns out that I mixed up the goal of the campaign. I tried to measure the performance of this campaign, which was designed for engagement by the KPIs that is for sales driving. So I will keep this in mind and design the ad in my further promotion campaign later on. And for previous week, I fixed the conversion funnel drop, and I have sent out a newsletter in two platforms, target for cooled down likers and for active likers. It is surprisingly that the performance is better for the cooled down likers. I still cannot figure out why. Maybe because of the more focused segment, or maybe due to the better layout of presented by MailChimp. I'll need to figure it out. But the performance figure is shown in the presentation. The open rate is almost a double for the cooled down likers. And also I have fixed some tracking parameters. it start to the result start to I mean, I can observe a better tracking result in the Google Analytics now, but still the period is too short to present. So I try to observe for 1 more week and present in the next meeting. And during the weekend, I have participated in the G0V hackathon and learned something and have some meaningful dialogue with the volunteers, and I will keep follow up with them. That's it for my presentation.
Hi, this is Phoebe. So as for last week, have already drafted the formal interview article, but there are several wrap-up details that I would like to add today. Basically, it's some new information that I think is necessary after the hackathon over the weekend, where people have no idea about our validators as well as what are their role. So it would be helpful if I can add more details about where to know more about the LikeCoin chain validators. Second is drafted newsletter on LikeCoin chain proposal for today. We'll likely add today's weekly meeting notes to the newsletter as well before sending out. The SIE fund proposal is 50% done, mostly focused on the objective last week, and there are budgeting and company structure sections that need to complete this week. Also participate in the
Where's the draft of your SIE proposal? Do you need help?
I will share it on Google Drive to the team. Also participate the hackathon during the weekend as for reference for the LikeCoin hackathon. Some lesson learned is that it's quite, we need a more organized document for people to get involved according to their role. I guess it would be helpful if we start to have documentation of what needs to be done or what helps we need to get from the community, so the conversation can start easily. Also posted an article about joining the LikeCoin team on Matters last week. Hope to keep up on the Matters community involvement on a weekly basis. According to the conversation last week with Quick Exchanges, that we will postpone the integration next step to March 21st until their product development is up to speed, so we can move on to the next step.
This is Josh. Not much to update this week. In the previous week, I decided the most part of the monthly report email, which I will continue to finishing up this week. And I also will pick up the Civic Liker registration funnel for this week. Hope to improve it more or do some A/B tests and find out more insights. And this is for my part.
Okay, Iris here. Last week, I have a decoration project just next to my home, so it's quite noisy here. Okay, last week I have a IPFS sharing session for our internal team, and for the ISCN SPED, I share the screen first. Okay, now for the ISN SPED, it started to the community discussion For the ISN spec, now we can see the guideline how to contributing the ISN specification. Yeah. Just like any other open community, have some proposal, and you can and the community can start a draft of the proposal, and we call this proposal is ISP, ISN specification proposal, and currently now has the number one, the first draft. Yes, this draft is defining the objective of the ISN specification, so that all the in detail technical design will based on this objective. You can see on the GitHub, and the link I posted on the weekly report. So now all the contributors can start an issue. And all the discussion will go into this issue after all the participants get the consensus on this proposal. Then the PR of the specification will be created. And once the PR is done, then this proposal will be final. Yeah, that's it for the ISN specification. In the coming week, I will keep on going to do this spec in the very technical detail. So I think I need Chung's help on the this technical detail. That's all from my part. Yeah, that's it.
Can you have mute the mic?
Okay, I'll start again. So last week I posted an article on LikeCoin's governance with an aim to lobby for the first proposal. And up to now, 5 out of 7 validators have voted or voted yes. So the proposal will be most likely be passed within today, actually within minutes, because there are only like 15 minutes to go for the voting period. And right afterward, I'll encourage those who wanted, who showed interest to becoming a validator to take action to become the 8th to 10th validators, or even to kick out the existing validators to beyond 10. Last week is also another very important thing is, of course, the drop of the market, and I'm actually feeling extremely sorry about not having hashed our BTC and ETH on in our hand, so that our one way has significantly dropped. I'll follow up as soon as possible and see what we can do. So, like I mentioned, the WordPress Freedom Conference, which I'm supposed to go next month, was formally delayed. For the time being, it said it will be delayed to October, but of course we don't really know whether it will actually carry on in October. Checked out a few offices last week and signed the least expensive one, which is right here in my background. So I want to say a special thanks to the boss of the North for their kind discount for us. Joined a meeting with
threadsetting.com, trying to encourage a community DApp on LikeCoin. But lots of discussion going on, but not much progress. Anyway, I'll let the community drive itself as much as possible. I cannot really spend too much time on that. Like Edmund and Phoebe said, I also joined the Gov0 online hackathon and presented LikeCoin choice to recruit helpers. So right now about 25 actually, 20, maybe 26, 27 people joined the LikeCoin channel on Gov0 Slack. So we have to follow up as soon as possible before their enthusiasm cool down. That's my part.
I have an amendment about my part because I found that I forget to present what I'm going to do this week. So let me take 1 more minute. In the coming week, I've set a plan to research on the key influencer with Liker ID, and in fact I have already searched out some of them, and find that they have they have some difficulties on LikeCoin migrations, so that they stop for using our service for a while. I think I will keep on finding them and reach out and at least to serve them better in this week. And I will evaluate the crypts as a substitution of intercom. And there is a newsletter to be sent out this week about Meta's 1 million social fund. And I will keep communicating with the Meta's team and try to deliver this message better to the community. And there is an A/B test I want to do in this week to let the team know. As I presented last week on Slack channel, I found that there is a 40% drop in the second step, which is due to a link that lead back the users to the previous page. And I'll try to drive this A/B test. That's it for my amendment.